Let me first ask you what kind of growth we're expecting to see in LNG in 2019 compared to last year.
Yeah, good morning, Matt. It's a pleasure to be with you. Last year, we saw the LNG markets grow by just under 10% globally. And we actually see an acceleration coming into 2019, with the markets expected to grow by more than 10%, which adds to a track record of about 350% growth in the last 20 years. So indeed, LNG has been growing very, very rapidly in the recent past. And we see that trend continue in the medium term as well. It's really down to three mega trends in the energy industry. One is around rising global population, rising prosperity, and so more energy demand. One is about the need to reduce the carbon intensity of energy supply and get CO2 out of the system. And the third one is about the need to clean up the air, particularly in Asia, but also increasingly air quality is becoming an issue in Europe. And that's a fantastic platform for natural gas, but particularly for LNG, to serve that need and to ride on that wave. So yes, we see that growth continue.
So why do we see prices not anticipating that kind of growth, Martin?
I think prices are of course settling where the market settles. LNG prices have been quite strong in the last 2 years relative to oil and other energy prices, as the market demand was outstripping supply growth. In the near term, we see a well-supplied LNG market in 2019. But last year we flagged, and we continue to flag, a concern about whether the market will continue to be adequately supplied into the 2020s as the demand for LNG continues to grow, and the supply investment has lagged behind. We were very pleased to invest in LNG Canada last year, and that will bring much needed supply into the system in the mid of the 2020s. But the industry will need to do more in order to avoid a tight market occurring in the 2020s and prices coming to uncomfortably high levels. So we are very confident that the demand will be there because of these three mega trends. We are more worried about the supply side, and we are obviously putting our money where our mouth is ourselves.
So where are you getting the most LNG out of the ground? Are we seeing Australia, for example, overtake Qatar in production?
Yes, indeed, the global supply picture has diversified a lot in the last 20 years. Australia, by the end of last year, was on a run rate that made it the largest LNG exporter in the world, followed hotly on the heels by Qatar. And of course, Qatar is looking at expanding its own exports by the end of this year. But we see the United States, we see Canada coming in, we see East Africa. So there is an abundance of natural gas molecules around the world. But turning them into LNG and shipping them to the markets that need the gas most is a capital-intense play, and it's high-tech as well, and it needs quite a bit of lead time. So this is where the industry needs to be organized and prepared. And as I said, we took the lead in taking the LNG Canada FID last year. We do believe this trend will continue very strongly. Interestingly, we flag in our report today that the air quality in Beijing improved 78% over the last 5 years. And this is really just a result of a program to displace coal with natural gas in the city of Beijing. And this has massive potential for other cities in China and for other cities in Asia. I'm a frequent visitor, and I used to not be able to see the other side of the street from our office in Beijing, but now the air is a lot cleaner, and there's a lot to go. So we focus on making sure that the market is well supplied.